Casey. This bothers the fuck out of me. I can't. Yes. Oh, thanks for the sub, Nar. Hello, Dino Dance for a Dino Blade. Oh, yo. X-Raider Sama, thank you for the raid. Hi. Just started, played a little bit like an hour ago when I first came out. And then I got to the second boss. Died twice to it, and then I stopped. Hello, thank you for the raid. What were you up to? Well, let me... oh god, I haven't actually, like... in, like, forever, so I don't remember how to... How do I do this? Are you enjoying Dino Blade? Actually, it's pretty fun. The sensitivity for the camera is, like, a little too aggressive for my liking, but it's okay. But for the most part, I really enjoy it. I was playing Wu Chang tonight. Wu Chang? Wu Chang? Thank you for the shout out. Of course. Thank you for the raid. I usually play Final Fantasy 14. That's kind of like my main game. And then I play Monster Hunter as like my secondary. I play League of Legends. Sadly, the love-hate relationship I can't get out of. So. And then I just kind of play whatever else I want to play. And then we also occasionally do art, but like, yeah. Big agree on the camera, but I enjoy it a lot. Yeah, I mean, the camera sensitivity is just like really aggressive for no reason, but it's not awful. I also, when I was fighting the second boss, the reason I was dying a lot was that I was like, the hard target focus was really fucking me up. Oh, that reminds me. Hold on, I wanted to see if there was any option to turn off the auto like target thing, because that was like really messing me up, and then I was dying a shit ton because of that. Trigger lock off. Try that and see how well that goes. Yeah, I don't really have any other complaints other than those two things, so I don't remember how to dodge. Yeah. Hey, we'll see how this goes. Wait, just how good. What did I do, mate? Oh, wait, it's this, isn't it? Oh, no, that's the heal. Did not need a heal. No, wait, my game is lagging. Fuck off. Wait, I missed. I dodged though? I'm gaming? I dodged? Wait, I'm a pro gamer apparently? Holy. Wait, I spoke way too soon. Wait, I'm dodging like a pro though? Oh wait, sorry, I spoke way too soon again. I need to stop speaking so soon. How do we block again? Is it It's right left bumper. It's just Dino Dark Holes. Boy, I dodged right into that one. Yikes! Thank you for the sub. Thank you. It's very sweet of you. Wait. I don't have any more heals. Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry. I'm trying to get used to the freaking not using the auto lock. Okay, you know, not bad for first try of the day. Bad. Yeah, not awful. We take those. Yeah, that was super close. You got him next round. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just needed to get used to the not having the target lock. Oh, this might be the coolest game I've ever seen. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Yeah, I remember seeing the artist or the animator do like a small clip. I don't know if it was for like just like animation class or something, but like he did like a concept like animation of like a dinosaur with like blades in its mouth, and then like it was like everyone was like, oh my god, that's so cool. And then he got like a lot of like traction out of it, I guess, and like he decided to just make it into a game. So yeah, it's just Dark Souls Dino. It's pretty neat. Ooh, no thank you, sir. No thank you. Oh, hold on. A bad run. Holy shit. I'm griefing. I'm griefing so hard. Do I have any more heals? Actually, don't know. Hold on. Bro, I'm griefing so hard. Had a really good run earlier, and I'm... Oh, right, he keeps spinning. Fuck. Do I have any more heals? No, I don't. Just fuck that. How do I block? Ah. Okay, bad run. Yeah, I remember seeing the dino with Dante's sword and the Buster. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Well, that was like a couple years ago, wasn't it? I remember like the first time I saw that. Honestly. Oh, I fucking griefed and used my big move. Did I rest? I should probably rest. Hold on. Please let me interact with this door. I mean the stone. Whatever. I'll just wait. Yeah, it's been a hot second that they first posted. Yeah, it was like, I want to say at least I want to say like 3 years ago. If I remember correctly. That was like the first time I saw something. But I do love my Dark Souls. Actually, this is good prep for the new game that's coming out soon. What's it called? Beast of Recreation? That one looks really good. It's the plant wolfie. That one looks really good. It actually reminds me I should probably pre-order that shit. Yeah, I remember how to block. Oh wait, I can't block that though. Remember. Yeah. Wait, I fucking threw his axe back at him and I threw it right in his head. That's crazy. Thank you for the lurk, Nar. Hell yeah, good job. Excuse me. Thank you, EC, for the bits. Thank you. Dude, I fucking threw his axe right into his head. It's crazy. Thank you for the bits, Nar. It's so awesome. Yeah, honestly, this game is so cool. Very cool. I did one-shot the first boss, so you guys are gonna have to take my word for it. Obviously, I did not stream it, but I promise you, I one-shot the first boss. This boss was the first boss I was like, oh, genuinely, I kind of have to put some more effort into this. What do I want to do? Send your combo. There's a dash forward and release. Powerful short range strikes. The dark beast inside you seizes your mind as you release a bone-chilling roar. All enemies nearby freezes for a short amount of time. Actually, that doesn't sound awful. I gotta skedaddle for the night, but I'll leave you, Alaric. Have a good night and stream. Thank you. I hope you have a good rest of your night, and thank you so much for the raid again. I hope to see you around. Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, this is cool. Slows down your breathing to unleash blows to anyone nearby at a cost of the 40 resonance. He was pretty good. What's the passive? This passive is Refuse Death 1, standing your ground at 1 HP. Honestly, that's not awful. I do like all the other attacks, but like the Refuse Death Good is really good. Oh, wait, that one costs 2. Wait, does this one also cost 2? Oh, it does. Okay. I think. Okay, so the second tier ones all cost 2. All these only cost 1. Honestly, I think the freeze is really good. And it also costs the least of resonance. I'll go with that. Honestly, I want to probably upgrade the resonance because that allows me to use my attack. Okay, I've just got to remember which way I'm supposed to... Which way did I enter from? Okay, that's the skull that I picked up the little glowy bits from. Oh look, a stone. I can rest at. That's metal. Yeah, this whole game's fucking sick as fuck, dude. I don't know if you heard the intro music, but the intro music's so fucking good. I will say, fighting the little guys is a lot harder when you don't have the auto hits. Oh, hold on. Let me go back. Let me heal. Let me... I think I turn off the auto target lock for bosses, but I leave it on when I'm out in the open world. I think that is what I do. Hi, Ceiling Panda. Hi, how's it going? Ooh, hello? Lagging a little bit. Oh, do we want to go up? You know, yellow. We'll fight these two guys. I don't know what they are actually, but you know. Oh, I think I was out of range. Oops. Is it broken? Did I break it? Okay, no. I wasn't sure what he was doing. I lost a lot of health for that, which is kind of embarrassing, but fine. I'm just a girl. Okay. Oh, that's a big fella. It's a bunch of little fellas. See if I can aggro some without aggroing. Nope. That's a big guy. Okay, relax, relax. Oh, fuck. can't get executed. Yippee, I'm level 13. Can you believe it? He's bloodthirsty, I am. Look at me. Actually, so at the start of the game, you're a dino that gets beaten up. So you're out for revenge. And then some big dino from the beginning is like, oh, you finally awoken. I've been waiting for you. But technically, we were being bullied because we didn't have a sword. And we got bullied on or something. Oops, I didn't mean to heal. I'm rooting for her. I love a revenge story. Hell yeah, dude. She's just a girl. A dino. Well, is this another... This is another boss? Oh, hello. Oh. His weapon's just another dino. Okay, sure. That seems fair. Okay, the music didn't need to go this fucking hard. Oh, fuck. Whoa. He's so fucking scared. He just spams red attacks? Ah. Bro, well, like, what am I supposed to fucking do? He just spams Red's attack, which I can't block. Okay, I have to wait. What the fuck is this dude? This dude is like fucking badass. The tyrant. That timing's awful. Holy. Fuck. Dude, this guy is so badass. What the hell? Oh my. Fuck off, dude. Fuck. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This music reminds me of Killing Floor. Yeah, it does a little bit, doesn't it? Tyrant time, yeah. Killing Floor, that's a game I haven't played in a minute. He's using another dino as a weapon. He is. Can you believe this guy? Also, I need to turn off the auto target locking. I wonder if this will fuck me. Okay, no. Perfect. On. That's so sad. He's a bully. He is a bully. Look at him. Okay, you're just gonna start off with a fucking red attack? Okay, dude, sure. That seems fair. Yeah, fuck you. Well, I get your moveset. I understand it now. Oh wait, okay, I spoke way too fucking soon. Okay, I get it. You're upset. Oh, okay, you need to stop rolling so early for that one, where he charges up in the air. Is there a phase 2? Oh, he's just done with that Dino. Okay, sure. Okay, he just brought up a... God! Hello? Excuse me? He just throws it at me. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Okay, so that's a double. But okay, it goes into a combo. Okay. Holy fuck. Oh, wow, that does way too much damage. Have any more heals? No, I don't. Oh my god. Don't like the rock there. I'm going to, Yep, yeah, he throws that. Yep, okay. Oh, I rolled right into it. I rolled right into it! It wasn't even half health. He was like 3/4 HP down, and he went into phase 2. What? What? Our man pulls out a cruise ship, run around his day. After smooching poor Dino. Dude, he fucking... What? Sleeping pancake. Dude, okay, so that means I, like, can't use any of my heals in the beginning or early. Okay, I also need to not do my charge attack in the beginning because he just jumps at me. Wonder if I can do it now. Oh, he didn't like that. Let me just do a bunch of charge attacks. Will that work? My charge attacks do a lot of damage. Also, my fucking ult miss. Fuck off. Oh, he just threw the Dino at me. Oh, okay, he just got rid. Wait, he did the fucking combo from the second phase, but with the Dino. Excuse me? He did not do that at all. Where is he? Fuck. Yeah, okay, alrighty, okay, fine. Yeah, I was greedy for my charge pack. I get it, I'm sorry. Oh, he didn't even flinch. He's like, okay, I'll just take in the fucking face. My bad, my dude. I'm sorry, I guess. It's such fucking bullshit move. Oh yeah, he just spins. Okay, sure, that makes sense. Oh yeah, that's the fucking combo. Which pretty sure I can block the second part of it, but I can't block the first two. Okay, I'm stuck, sure. Okay. Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Holy fuck, dude. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Two-thirds a pretty popular phase 2 transition if they want a fight to be hard. Suppose you're right. The spatula to flip the flattened Dino makes sense. Oh my god. Okay, I'm dodging way too soon in phase 2. But also the fact that he fucking did the phase 2 mechanic move during phase 1 still is crazy. Well, okay, so let's not do the opener like that, I guess. I just miss every time. You just kill me. Just kill me right now. That was such a bad opener. Just kill me. Kill me. I'm standing right in front of you. Cool. Okay. I think I just dodged the very first mechanic and then do my charge attack and run at him. Yeah, come at me, bro. Hello? Why did he throw? Why? He's doing the move from the second phase. You're cheating, sir. You're cheating. Yeah, not this time. Well, I fucking dodged too soon. Okay, I'm fumbling. I'm fumbling so hard. I was playing so well and then I fumbled. I fumbled so fucking hard, dude. I'm fumbling. was doing so well. I was doing so well. And then I fumbled. I made one mistake and I just like forgot how to walk. Fell down the stairs. Dude. I also like how they have it as extinct instead of like you died. It's extinct. Crazy. Dude, I fucking fumbled so hard. I was doing so well during second phase. That was like the cleanest second phase I had. Okay. Alright. Okay. I'm gonna not run at him. I'm gonna charge this and I miss because rolled into it. I rolled into it like a dipshit. God, okay. Death count 11. Thank you, game. Rolled into it. Idiot. Okay, I'm fumbling so bad. I think my hands just forgot how to work, dude. Okay. My bad. Hey, I blocked the third combo. I use like all my health though, so like that sucks, but oh no, I had one more health stuff. Sure. Fuck. Dude, no way. No fucking way. Okay, that was a better second run. My first run, phase 2, was really bad. Phase 1 was bad. Phase 2 was actually pretty good. Hi, Zen. Hey, hi. Okay. Okay. Of course, his name would be the Tyrant. That's a new game that recently came out. Oh, fuck. That stopped him? I'm stuck. Fuck. Yeah, fuck you. That's where I rolled too soon. Yeah! I locked in so hard. He threw his spatula on his face. That was so stressed. Thank you, AC, for the bits. Thank you. Thank you for the confetti. Dude, I was so locked in. I'm breaking it. Oh, a new sword? New sword. Oh, hell yeah, new sword. Got a new sword. Dude, that was so fucking stressful. Holy fuck. Yeah, I wanted to get the revive health thing. One revive. Clap. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This doesn't not tell me. Okay. So we can do the dash forward, or this is, I think, the slow down your. Unleash a blow to anybody. So that's just AoE. Slash 4 could be good. But AoE also seems really good. The other ones do AoE? Yeah, that one's AoE. That's also AoE. Yes, yeah, technically they're all AoE. I want to do a dash forward. Not really, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna just to 200, I think. Look at all these swords I can get. Once dull as a rock, now sharpened by centuries of war, this blade carries scars older than kingdoms. Heavy attacks cause the ground to tremble in reverence of its forged. Blah, 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 blah. I can't speak. Wait, so does it do something that's different than my charge attack? I don't know. Hard to say. I don't know if the weapons actually do anything like different from each other. This back. Oops. Nope. Dude, that awesome part. Oh, this is the dude that gave us the power.
It seems you're not as weak after all. If you wish to restore this world, you must devour all souls in your path.
The heavy attack that isn't fully charged one? No, I'm pretty sure the other one you can fully charge. Like, I didn't really see a difference between the two. Okay, this design for a dino is really fucking cool. That's really cool. I mean, wow. It's so pretty, other than its kind of low poly textures. That's fine. Are we in heaven? This looks like it's heaven. Are we in heaven? Oh, right. Increase damage. Increase damage by 10%. Increase ammo regen speed. Wait, did I not get a soul? Did I not pick up his soul? No, I did, right? Oh my god. Did I not pick up? Was there a soul for me to pick up? Oh my god. Was there? Was there? Or was me killing him me getting the sword? Was there a soul? I genuinely don't remember. Was there a soul for me to pick up from that guy? No, there wasn't, right? There was not anything for me to pick up, right? If there was a shiny red thing on the ground, I would have definitely picked it up, right? I don't remember. Did I not pick it up? Oh my god. Is there any way for me to go back? I don't think there is. Is there? There was definitely not a shiny red thing on the ground, right? It wouldn't not let me, right? I'm going to, yeah, that, you know, we have faith that I would have noticed, right? Yeah. I'm being pushed. If soul is red, fire looking orb thing where he died, you picked it up. Oh, I did pick it up? Did I? If I did, I would have gotten... Well, maybe I got... Well, I did get the boss soul, but maybe I don't get him as a summon. Maybe that's what it is. Look at these guys. They got little hammers. Oh, they're little duckbills. Oh yeah, definitely overkill, but it's fine. Cool animation. I like cool animations. That's a big dude. That's a bunch of little dudes. Are they gonna attack me if I walk up to them? Another... Is that a turkey? It looks like a turkey. It kind of gobbles like a turkey too. I went back and looked. It just gave XP and caused level up. Oh, okay. Oh fuck. A lot of dinos fighting. Pick this up really quick. Don't mind me. Going in this action really quick. And get some decent EXP out of this, maybe? Oh, he fucking headbutted me. That's rude. You just stabbed me. Rude. Oh, I guess he wasn't attacking me. Oh, now I feel a little bad. Oopsies. It's fine. I'm sorry. The dead dino. I can't even... I kind of jumped on his body. I don't know which direction to go. I heard topples like a gobbles like a turkey too. Topples? Topples? What's up? Okay, Mr. Spinny Guy. Oh, that do kind of hurt. I don't really know where I'm going, or if I even know where I'm supposed to do my life. Where do I go? I just see lots of blue shiny things. I want to pick up the blue shiny thing. Go pick up blue shiny. Ooh. You guys like a fucking samurai sword. Oh fuck. Oh, oh no, I'm aggroing a bunch of things. I'm not trying to aggro. Don't mind me. Pick these up really quick. Okay, that was a little stressful, but it's okay. We did it. Yippee! Where are the other blue shinies? Give me blue shinies. That's a lot of gobbles. All the gobbles. They're also colorful. I see a blue shiny. What? Pick this one up first. Is there anything over here? I don't think there is. More blue shiny this way. Okay. Oh, a stone. We like stones. I would like to find another boss. That looks very boss-shaped. You know, a boss next to a stone, a resting stone. I have a feeling that this is a boss. You a boss. You look boss-shaped, thanks. Fuck. He just flops. Ooh-wee. Oh, fuck. Okay, I'm sorry. Jesus. Oh, sorry for disrespecting you, sir. I didn't mean that. Holy. I should just block it. Fuck. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Boss, no, I'm just a little guy. Yeah, well, that little guy just fucking destroyed my ass. Holy shit. I think my health is fine. I think I do want more stamina, though. Dude, he really was. Okay, I'm gonna try one more, and then I'll probably end stream. But I'm down to stream more Dino Blade if you guys are having fun watching me play Dino Blade. Damn, okay, even me blocking that is a shit ton of damage. Holy my god. Dude, relax. Okay, so I have to dodge his attack when he does the... Okay. Not the best run here, but it's fine, I guess. I forgot to turn off my auto target before I started the boss. Ow, he just fucking knocks me over. Yikes. Ow. Okay, that really fucking hurts, dude. Damn, okay. Oh my god. Okay. I will pick this up another time, but I'm very eepy, so I think I'm going to go to bed. But thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you guys had fun watching me play the Dino game. But yeah, and travel. Shit. So yeah. I might try to stream maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll do some more tomorrow, but I do have to work a little bit tomorrow, Saturday, so yeah. If I do stream, it'll probably be later tomorrow. So yeah. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.